Okay. If you are in a season where keeping, creating, or letting go of adult friendships has been top of mind or challenging for you, then this video is for you. And I want you to know that you are not alone. I just turned 31 for context, and when it comes to keeping, creating, and letting go, let's start with the happy. Let's start with keeping. Keeping those relationships where y'all have been friends for 5, 10, 15 years. And the distance may be one of those things that really is not desirable, but is a reality. I'm in a season now where, and I mean, I've honestly been in this season since I graduated high school, moved to Maryland for school and then for college, and then moved to Seattle for work. And then now living in North Carolina, I have constantly been in a space where my girls, where are they? ¿Dónde está? And I can say I've gotten pretty acclimated to like how to navigate the distance and with some friends we have a call that we'll do once a month just as like our girl how you really doing, and we just had one of those calls this past week or a few days ago, and sometimes like we are always on go, like we are all busy professionals, have our responsibilities, have relationships, all that jazz. But I think that one of the most beautiful things when it's come to keeping those relationships is the ease and the honesty that we've been able to cultivate as like a norm, where if one of us is like in a season where we really need the girls to step in and lock in, like we have no problem with just hitting up the chat like, hey, it's a rough time. This ain't the girls that get it, the girls that get it. But these boys are playing games, sis. I am at my wit's end, and I really need y'all um more than I usually do in this season. Like we'll have those conversations, or even if it's like, hey, you've been a bit absent, sis. First off, like, are you good? But second off, I miss you. So let's get back to reconnecting more often. And I've deeply valued, or even I'll give context. I guess one that's like not so happy-go-lucky, but it is a reality as personally as someone who is multi-passionate and is often like leading with alignment, where if my heart and my passions and my interests are aligned with something new, I'm going to go after it and see where it takes me. So I have also had to have honest conversation with friends and be like, hey, this is my new project. I'm really excited about it. Would love for your support. And this is what that support looks like. Equally grateful for those conversations just as much as I am for the ones where it's the hey girl, how you doing type of calls. And I've learned that the relationships that I have been able to keep have come with ease. They have come with understanding. They have come with trust. Um, they have come with like curiosity and wanting to continue to get to know each other like as we evolve. And I just think that that is so beautiful. Um, yeah, I think that's so beautiful. And I do not take it for granted at all. Like I think that, as y'all know, I love my husband. Well, okay, we're new. We're new friends here on the YouTube streets, but my husband and I, we've done a ton of content on TikTok and YouTube. So I deeply love and care for him. And yes, and there is a special place in my heart for my friends that have seen me through seasons who have been by my side. But yeah, I think the keeping of friends, it's come with as I mentioned earlier, like the understanding, the love, the care, the desire to be there for each other, the desire to ask for support, the honesty, um, and I think most importantly, like the desire to make sure that the other person is good more than the desire to make things about them, if that makes sense. I'll get into that part. in the letting go part of this episode, but that is the keeping. Love the girls down. Forever grateful for them. And yeah, it's just the bliss is great. Now let's move on to creating, where now that we're in, 20s, 30s, however old you are watching this, I think especially after like 25, you hit this like aha moment. For me, it was like 27, to be quite honest, and shout out to my therapist, um, who around that time had introduced me to the importance of living a values aligned life, where she, like the very first call or the very first session that we had, it was all about values. Like we're gonna dive deep into like what you truly care about, what your non-negotiables are, and like what you look for both in yourself but in other people who you hope to be close to you in your circle. And while at first I thought that was very woo-woo, and I was like, can we get to the pain? I'm here to talk about my pain, and you are supposed to be here to help me through that. But I will say that, especially when it comes to creating net new relationships in my late 20s and early 30s, which has been a challenge, it is because I have been so clear and unapologetic and firm on my values and my boundaries around my values. And I've had a few, I've definitely had a few friends like in my late 20s and early 30s who like were locked in. One of them I just went to her baby shower this past week, and I'm very excited for that next season of her life. You know who you are, Jaden. But I've also had friends where I thought things were going well, and it was, yeah, so it wasn't a one-off thing of like, oh, it was a situation. We're humans, that happens, but it was like multiple times where I was like, yeah, I would be compromising my values just for the sake of friendship, and I can't do that. And that's hard. Like, I think that, we talk about, oh, my besties since like college and all that, but there's not as much dialogue around how challenging it can be when you are very intentional around having relationships where their integrity is unquestionable. Their care is unquestionable. Their humor, like their sense of humor, I'm literally naming some of my top values. Um, and yeah, like I think my long lasting friends, those who I've known for um shoot, like at least, I don't know, all of my bridesmaids and my sisters, like with them, I think they may have set such a high bar where I don't and can't compromise or fathom like any type of friendship less than that. That creating of new friends piece, it does take time and it takes intentionality and it takes awareness of not just who you are, but also um being observant of like consistent traits and habits and ways that people carry themselves. Um, so yeah, I think that that is like the gist of like what I have learned and will continue to integrate into how I create net new friendships. And then we have the letting go of friendships. And this one is actually very, I don't know. I will say yesterday I came across a video from one of my birthdays, and I found myself both laughing and like subconsciously crying when I watched the video because, of course, like we had a ball. Every birthday trip I've had, like it's been, well, I'll say this, every birthday trip I've had outside the country has been amazing. Um, and yeah, so that birthday trip, like the video just brought back such good vibes. It was a core memory. I will never forget it. But it also included a friend that I had to um leave. And that was hard to watch because I was like, we were so happy. Like we were two peas in the pod, but going back to that values piece, like it was just one of those relationships where when things were good, they were really, really good. But when boundaries were crossed and things went left, it was really, really bad. And yeah, I think I think sometimes friendship breakups can be harder than um like romantic ones. Um and I think that I have to give myself grace when I do have those moments of like sadness because that person was someone that I really deeply loved and cared about. But I also gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. Like I laugh, but it's very true. Like you cannot compromise yourself, your happiness, your joy, your peace for the sake of keeping a relationship, especially after conversations have been had or, habits or traits have been acknowledged and it's still like, that's not my problem. Um, and so I think for the person who may be in a situation where you thought that this person that you're currently navigating challenges with was going to be, a lifelong friend and you're struggling with like, dang, what does this like, am I really going to give up that hope and dream for the sake of doing what I know is right? And your body will tell you, okay? Your body, like whether it's like when you get a text from them and it's like, or whether it is sweaty palms, like, or whether it's just like angst whenever they reach out, like one of the things I've learned in my late 20s and early 30s is that your body will keep count. And for you to not listen to it is you doing a disservice to yourself. And not just your current self, but your future self who um will then have to like deal with the repercussions of staying in a situation or a relationship that you've clearly either outgrown or is no longer in alignment with your values. Um yeah, I just want to encourage you, like, if you are in any of those three buckets where you're trying to figure out how to um keep relationships with people who may have a new boyfriend or may have moved across the country or may naturally just be a bit more distant now than they used to be. Like, I want to encourage you to have the honest conversation, and the response will give you everything that you need to know. Um, so that's one. I also hope for the person who is looking to create new relationships that you give yourself grace and know that it takes time, but also do the internal work to make sure that you are showing up full and whole, and aware of your values and your boundaries and your non-negotiables and your flexibilities. Like the more you know that, honey, the easier, I say easy, but like the more simple the decision is with like creating that new or being like, now this is cute, but got a blast. And then for the person who is navigating friendship breakups and at a point where they're like, dang, is it really time to let go? With love, of course. I want to encourage you to really, again, do the inner work and go back to your values and have your trusted people who know you like the back of your hand. Or like, let me say that again. Make sure that you go to your people who know you like the back of their hand, whatever it is. I've had with all of the friendship breakups, I've only had like two or three big ones. But with those ones, my husband is the most discerning person in my life. I trust him more than I trust my judgment and decision making sometimes. And he is also very grounded in his relationship with Christ. So when he is like, mm-mm, it's not as if I have to be like, yes, sir, but it's like you see something that I don't see, or you've gotten a deposit from God that was meant to be shared with me. And yeah, like I think sometimes I can be the friend that's like, "Oh, no, I see the good." Like, I'll always look to see the good in someone, sometimes to my detriment. And my husband's the realist who is like, "Is you blind?" So yeah, have the people around you who can be a mirror and be like, "Sis, okay." All right. That is all for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.